Hello! I'm Elaine, and I'm a tour guide in the French Quarter. I do ghost tours. And I am not going to tell you the stories that I tell on my tour, because you gotta pay for those. But if you want to hear some interesting things that have happened to me while I'm leading random drunk people around the French Quarter, I got you. One of my favorite things about drunk people asking questions is they very rarely are coherent enough for you to understand what they're asking on first go. And if you ask for clarity, they're not going to be able to help. So, for like example, tonight I had a very drunk girl that was standing in the front of the group at the Lalaurie Mansion, and she interrupted like two or three times to try to ask a question. I kept having to be like, "Wait for the end. I'll get there in a minute." And at the end of the story, I was looking around and be like, "Okay, questions." And another girl asked a question, and I answered it. And then I was looking at the girl who had been interrupting me to be like, "Do you have a question now?" And she did ask a question, but it was, let me see if I can get this right. It was, why was the lady on the tour ghost haunting? And I was like, okay, I'm gonna need to a little bit more clarity of what you're saying. I'm sorry, what? And she said, why was the lady on the tour ghost haunting? And I was like, man, I don't know what you're saying. Can you explain it in different words? And the third time, she managed to change just enough. She said something to the extent of, is the lady haunting the tour? I was like, oh, do you mean, is Delphine Lalaurie haunting this building? And she was like, yes! And then I could answer her question. But it's one of those things that just like, it happens on a regular basis, and you'll ask them to like clarify, and they just repeat themselves. And you're like, no, sweetie, give me different words. And luckily, usually there's somebody else in the group who can, you know, try to interpret what they're asking, but most of the time, even their friends are just looking at you like, I have no idea what she's trying to ask. But yeah, on the other side of that, another hilarious bad question moment recently. I was telling a story that involved a guy shooting someone, and then he reloads the gun and he shoots himself. And the way I always phrase it is he reloaded the gun and he killed himself. And a girl looked right at me and said, oh my God, did he die? And I was so glad I was not the only person who could not keep a straight face. Like half of the group burst out in laughing, and I was like, yes, 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 sweetheart. He did die from killing himself. So, it's fun answering drunk people's questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and feel free to share your own experiences in the comments below.